Welcome in, Ursuline fans, to this latest player profile before Week 1. D.C. Ferrell, the Ursuline quarterback and defensive back, and pretty much everywhere on the field. I'm Tim Corso. Thanks for joining me once again. And D.C., thanks for being on the show.
No
We're going to be
problem.
here every week from the Golden Dawn. Big shout out to Johnny Naples and all the Golden Dawn staff for making this possible. D.C., you're shifting the quarterback. That's obviously a big transition from receiver, but you played quarterback your freshman year.
Yeah.
You threw 20-plus touchdowns. You ran for a few hundred yards, threw for over 2,000. So how was stepping back into that after 2 seasons at wide receiver? And I'm sure you're excited.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Just stepping into that feel good. I got coaches that is really helping me, really getting quarterback smart again.
Right.
Really taking that big step. So
And especially playing receiver the last couple of years, it does play to an advantage of the fact that, you know how the receivers think even more so now of doing that, especially being an all-state receiver last
yeah.
year. So how does that kind of help you when you're on the field, especially during your scrimmages you've had and the practices you had?
It helped me a lot. So like when I'm like throwing the ball and stuff, I'm throwing the ball where I think my wide receivers are going to be open because it was times where last year I thought I was open and I
Right.
thought I was supposed to get the ball. So I'm really having that really connection with my wide receivers, really asking them like, um, what like when do you feel open and stuff like that. So that's really a big thing for me.
Right, and did you have you talked to Jack at all to kind of get some advice from him about what he did last year and how he had such a successful season last year at quarterback?
Yeah. Last year I was kind of playing quarterback too, so me and Jack was already like getting each other better. Jack really made me feel comfortable when I got back to quarterback. So he really made me uh, make sure I was on time and make sure my feet was right, and I just took that over until this year.
Right now you have a really skilled group of guys around you, running backs, receivers, what might be probably the best receiving room in the area,
Yeah,
returning pretty much all of your impact receivers from last year, and you add Deshaun Will, who looks a lot like you running around out there with
yeah.
the quickness. So how is that going to be, for you just to kind of, obviously it's going to be a little transition early on. How is that going to help ease you in, especially when you have all those weapons around you to make big plays?
I I just like I played with them since I was little, so I know what they are capable of doing. So it's really just come normal. When I play with them, I play quarterback in little league, so I kind of have that connection with them already. Really, D Will, he a big factor. I can really give him the ball quick, make sure
Right.
he get in
In
space.
space, yeah.
Yeah, and just let him do what he do. And then I got Devontae Taylor. He'll really go get the ball. So like, it's times where I could just throw him a fade ball. He'll go get it. You got Tyran. Tyran is a big playmaker.
Right.
And then we got a couple young guys playing slot receiver. They are good playmakers too. So it's really gonna be fun.
I was about to say, like, you have guys who are smaller, like Deshaun, who's really quick, Devontae, who's 6'3", you can go grab a jump ball, and
Yeah,
guys like Tyran and Jaquise, who are kind of both, where they can go grab a ball in the air or kind of out quick somebody. So having all of those guys and just knowing that I can, if I need this, this, or this, I can find that in one, if not more of my guys. How
right.
is that comforting in being a quarterback?
It's really comforting. It's like they everybody got like different abilities, so
Right.
it's kind of like okay, so this play I know that he's gonna be open. This play I know Devontae's gonna be open. I know Jaquise is gonna outrun him, so it's kind of really easy.
Right. And so now your play style at quarterback, because obviously every quarterback is different. Who do you kind of model your game after, and kind of what would you describe your game as a quarterback?
Um, I really like you mean like a person I look up to
Yeah,
or something.
NFL player you model your game after,
Um,
something you look up to.
I say like Lamar
Okay.
Jackson. He really so like if he get pressure, he really gets around, make sure that he keeps the play alive. So
Right.
I feel like I'm that type of
When
quarterback.
things break down, that's when guys get open that you wouldn't expect. It's
Yeah,
the routes, so you had to make your own routes.
yeah,
And so with your running back room on the last part of the offense, that the offensive line, those are two obviously big factors, especially when you're running and throwing the ball. And you have two starters back on that offensive line. You got a bunch of running backs returning, including Joe Baylock, who
yeah,
kind of came on down the stretch last year.
yeah.
So to keep defenses honest, obviously you got to pass and run the ball. Having a really good offensive line who can block for your passing and running, how is that, especially with your running back room that's so deep?
Um, it really takes a lot of pressure off me. Like having a good running back. And me, I can run the ball as well. So it's like when I hand the ball off, it's like it stuns the defense sometimes. They don't know if I have the ball. They can help my running back a lot.
Right.
And then with my line, I got a great line actually. They really they make sure they tell me that where I have to run and stuff. So
Right.
they'll tell me like, oh, this is gonna be open, so make sure you hit this and then do whatever you got to do. You know, so it's like we just all have that connection. It's just
Right. And so on defense, you're playing defensive back again this year in the safety area, all in the secondary. So from a defender's eyes now, because you are a quarterback, and it's gonna, obviously as a receiver and D back, you obviously knew okay what to look for in a receiver. But now is playing defensive back make it a little easier now that you're playing quarterback and you're seeing through the eyes of a quarterback at the defensive back spot.
yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Like so they're in the coverage and stuff, so I actually know. Um, I know how fast the linebackers are gonna get out to number one receivers.
Right.
So it really gets my timing right. So like me knowing what the DB does, it gets my like it gets me like really locked into what I'm doing.
Right. And so obviously from freshman year to now, and being a senior versus freshman is obviously very different, and playing receiver, quarterback, a couple years each. So how has that journey been, just going from your first year of high school football all the way to now, and kind of the growth you've seen in yourself and all different kind of your teammates too?
It feels good. It's actually um like my like me playing wide receiver. It's like I know what I'm capable of doing. So it's like when I was younger, I was kind of like nervous and I was kind of nervous to do this and nervous to doing that,
Right.
and I really ain't know what I was doing. So now being more like confident in what I'm doing, I feel good.
And now you were a kick returner, punt returner last year. Are we going to see you there more or less, or what are we
Um,
thinking of? Because obviously quarterback takes a big load at the hits.
yeah, you might see me less at kick returner.
Right.
I'm gonna do a lot of punt returning.
Right, especially
So
with dynamic players you have around you.
yeah,
You don't need to be doing that as much
right.
with the amount of skill you
Yeah,
guys have.
yeah,
And of course, the goal is to win state every year, and
right.
and you were close the last couple of years, and that's the goal this year. What is this team? I'm sure this team has what it takes. What's going to make this team different from any other team in Division III in the state of Ohio?
Um, it's gonna be different because we got a lot of returning players that gives a big impact on the team. Um, we got a lot of players that are D1, that are really like that are really confident in what they're doing. So it's like we got that energy this year. Last year we didn't really have that energy. I feel like this year we got a lot of energy. Um, and then our young guys is really stepping up. So it's gonna be a good year for us.
And week one, Walsh, because you obviously want to know every week, and that's coach talk, but
Yeah.
it's the truth because you can't worry about week three if you don't win week one or two. And you got Walsh, a really good team, consistently, consistently playing for Division II state titles. So how is that week one? Obviously, it'll be a big, as I say, punch in the mouth because you're facing a really good team
Yeah.
right away.
Um, it really, I'm really happy that we having a team good like that early. It really makes us like, all right, we got to step up. We got to make sure that we're doing this right. We got to make sure that we're being consistent at practice, and us playing them is getting us ready for the season to play other good teams.
And lastly, can you give me a little rundown on what we should expect from Walsh Jesuit and you guys come Thursday, just less than 48 hours away?
It's gonna be a great game. They might score a lot. We gonna score a lot. It's gonna be a good defensive game also. So it's really gonna be a really interesting game to watch.
Well, we're all excited to go watch on Thursday. A little different. Every Ursuline game starts on Thursday the last few years, which kind
Yeah.
of gets a little more attention because there's not many games on Thursdays.
Right.
And it's always an exciting atmosphere. Standball, even though it's pretty big
Yeah.
compared to other high school stadiums,
Yeah.
it's a college one. It still
Right.
fills up pretty good for Ursuline.
Yeah.
And how is knowing that support that you got from all those fans going to kind of, a little extra home field advantage?
It feels good. It's really like we got a lot of. It's a big tradition at Ursuline.
Right.
And then especially on Thursdays, a couple other teams come and watch, so it's really gonna be packed. So we know that it's gonna be really hyped at this game. Walsh comes with a big crowd
Right.
also.
They
So
travel well.
yeah, they travel crazy, and then so we know that they're gonna come with a big crowd. So it's gonna be a really good game.
Thanks, DC, for joining me. I've been Tim Corso here with DC Ferrell from the Golden Dawn. Thanks again to Johnny Naples and the Golden Dawn for supporting us. And we'll be here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for you Irish fans on YSN Live.